taking a look at the build quality of the KO2. Let's see what the first version actually looked like. Quite a small device versus this new version here. Holy moly, there's a lot to look at. So let's take a look. Overall, I think they did an amazing job with the design, and that's something you can see right off the bat. I mean, people are raving about the way it looks. They did an amazing job. It looks like a calculator, but a super sophisticated one, you know. The knobs feel very nice. I think they did a great job with these. If you do have any of the Teenage Engineering pocket operators, they feel very similar to the knobs on these. Very similar, just a little bit more thick, maybe a little more resistance. The fader knob feels amazing. They did a great job with this. It feels like your typical fader knob on a MIDI keyboard. These keys, they did a great job on as well. Very clicky, very tactile. Feels like there's a lot of give, and they're kind of satisfying. It makes me want to just keep hitting them. So I think they did a great job with all these. These buttons are very clicky. I would also liken them to the buttons that are found on the actual original KO or just any of the pocket operators. Yeah, nothing special. Feels like a typical button. The plastics actually don't feel too bad. I think they did a good job with the plastic selection. The only plastic I dislike is probably this glossy plastic they use for the screen, which I can turn it on real quick. It works perfectly to make the lights pop and feel just like neon. But the only problem is they kind of, if I can kind of do this, you can see it. They really hold your fingerprints. So I would not stick your fingers on it like the way I just did. The other thing that I dislike is probably these feel just awful. I would be very worried about this. I'm not worried about it coming off, but just the flimsy nature of this, I really don't. I think maybe they could have done a little bit of a better job with that. But you're not going to be touching either of these pieces very often, if not ever, because you can actually, if we look at the I/O up here, it's a lot of 3.5 jacks, input or output, input, sync, and MIDI. And then you got a USB-C over here, which can actually, you can plug in and then provide power to it through that. The switch feels like a switch. Takes a lot of force to push it, so not too bad. On the sides, we actually have what look like pieces of Lego Technic. So a lot of this, if you can't tell, is actually inspired by Legos. These straight up look like Lego cylinder blocks. These straight up look like 2x1 studless blocks. So there's a lot on this that is kind of Lego inspired, and this is just a direct, obvious comparison. I could straight up stick a Lego in there, which is kind of fun. The back of the device, kind of showing you the sides and the front so you can kind of see. But the back of the device, it's very simple, just a black piece of plastic. They actually show you what screwdriver you're going to need, so that's kind of cool. I like that. And the big Teenage Engineering logo right in the front. So overall, and they got these little rubber feet, which just kind of moving my finger on them, it doesn't feel like they're going to come off very easily. So, and I do like that. Once you place it on a desk, it does not want to move unless you really push it. So they did a good job with that. Overall, I think they did a great job with the build quality. Even trying to like twist it, it does not want to twist. So overall, it feels like a solid piece of brick or whatever, whatever you want to call it. I would be worried about dropping this from like, I don't know, shoulder height, even maybe hip height from where I'm standing. So I would not just be carrying this around in one hand, like messing around with it as you're walking. This is definitely more of a desk device, but I think anything that you're going to be messing around with, spending however much you spend on this, you're not going to want to just be carrying this around. This is definitely something that, you protect. But overall, I think they did a good job. I totally recommend it. And quick tip, because I heard people were having trouble putting this on, put just a little bit of lubricant in there, maybe some WD-40, and then just very lightly start pushing it down. Do not push it super hard, just lightly push it in there, and it should go in for you. Mine works just fine. I'll even show you here if I turn it on. As you can see, works just fine. Overall, great device. I totally recommend it.